Look, I'm not going to tell you that reaching 8% body fat is easy, but I am going to tell you that it's worth it and it's more sustainable than the current body that you're walking around in right now. And that is what nobody is actually saying, all right? Because most, if not every single one of my clients that come inside my elite program come in with the same problems. They're stuck in the same cycle of training hard and eating clean and still not seeing the body that they deserve. And it isn't down to lack of effort. It isn't down to wanting it enough. All right, not wanting it enough, sorry. It's simply down to the fact that they don't have the right structure or just a clear foundation to actually build from. And that foundation, that starts at that 8% body fat. Yeah, we get there once. We learn to maintain it as a standard. And everything changes, right? The way you build muscle, the way you look, the way you actually feel every single day of your life. Because we're not chasing some 6-week transformation. We're building a lifestyle where looking good is literally the standard. Where we're not on and off, where we're not having weekends that literally undo everything. Yeah, we want to be looking like a stud 365 days of the year, guys. Like, that is the fucking goal. Yeah, that is the goal. Like, guys, if we're looking to build muscle, if we're looking to build tissue, a lot of men, they start their bulk, and I hate that term, by the way, guys, but they already start their bulk, you know, it's looking soft. They're already around 12, maybe 15% body fat, and then they wonder why they're not building the body they want. Because, guys, it's literally just getting hidden. Right? All the definitions getting hidden. All your muscle is getting hidden by more fat. So, guys, we actually just want to set ourselves up in a good position first. And that means just getting a clean canvas. Because when you actually lean, and I'm talking properly lean, I'm talking 8% body fat, everything works better, right? Your body partitions nutrients differently. The food you're actually eating is going to the muscle. It's not going into the fat storage, all right? Your insulin sensitivity is going to improve. Your digestion is going to improve. Your hormones are optimized. So there's all these benefits, guys. And then there's the lifestyle side of things. Yeah, when we get to 8% body fat, when we enter into that performance phase, that muscle building phase, it's inevitable you're going to gain a little bit of fat on the way. Yeah, not all muscle, but mostly muscle, but a little bit of fat. But we want to stay as lean as possible whilst driving that food. And in that way, you're never only a couple weeks away from photo shoot ready, all right? From your best shape. And, you know, the performance phase, then we can drive just a lot more food into lean body. And that is where real results actually happen. And we just look fuller and leaner and just look fucking sick, guys. That is what we want. That is why we want to get down to that 8% body fat. Not for the sake of being shredded, but it's literally the foundation everything is built from. So if you're already soft right now, if you're already guessing meals, if you're already carrying too much body fat, why would you want to enter a bulk, guys? Okay, we do not want to be getting fatter and just calling it progress. We also, at the same time, guys, we also don't need to be dick skin shredded year round. But we want a nice clean canvas to build that physique off of. The muscle, the performance, the confidence, the way you carry yourself. It's a lot easier when you're just building a body that just always looks good. Yeah, always a body that you actually respect. And this is where most people go wrong. This is what I see that kills more transformations than anything. And that is impatient, guys. All right, that is a problem that I've noticed with a lot of guys that I've coached. They come in with ego, guys. They think they're a lot leaner than they actually are. They think they're ready to build. Yeah, they think they're only a couple weeks away or close to their dream body when really they're weeks and weeks away. Yeah, a lot of people want to go straight into building size. And they're not even in a position like where I'd start, where I'd end my performance phase, guys. Like, I don't like to end my performance phase. I don't like to spill over 12, 13% body fat. Yeah, we want to make sure we're always looking sharp. So they're nowhere near, guys. Okay, and in reality, if you're 20% body fat and watching this video, guys, you're probably, I don't know, 16, 24 weeks away. But it's about having that patience. It's about having that consistency and just trusting the process. And I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but I'd rather tell you that right now than you to just do some fucking crash diet for 8 weeks and just lose all your muscle and wreck your metabolism and just end up back where you started. That is not the goal, guys. Right, the men who actually push through that window, who actually get down to that 8% body fat and stay there, are the ones who actually have that patience from the get-go. And again, it's about dropping the ego as well, guys. You know, I thought I knew everything. I thought eating less and training more and just running myself into the ground was the only way I was able to sustain that 8 to 10% body fat year round. Yeah, I thought maybe, I just can't sustain it because I sat comfortably around that 12-13%. I thought maybe it was genetics. And then I got a coach. I invested in a top physique coach and he changed the approach. All right, I stopped with all the excessive running. I used to be a hybrid guy, guys. I got the nutrition dialed in. I got everything structured properly. I adopted his mental syntax and it just became easy. And guys, like I say, now I'm able to cruise around 10%. I'm actually in a bit of a performance phase right now, around 10-11%, looking to dial things in a little bit over the next few months, but we're more just pushing size, pushing performance right now. But guys, like what I came to realize, it's never about doing more. It's about having the right things from the get-go. So I'm actually going to run you through the approach that I take my clients through, and I've actually adopted, off my coach. I've learned certain ways, and this is a new way of actually building your physique. But before we actually get into the roadmap, which is what I'm going to break down on how to actually sustain it, I want to talk about something that no one talks about, and this is the real reason that most people fail their diet, even if they have the right plan from the get-go. And it is your whole identity, it is your whole mindset, all right? The way you actually see yourself before you change the body up, before the body starts changing, all right? Because if you actually just see yourself right now as someone who struggles with the diet, someone who falls off every weekend, someone who starts every couple of months, that identity will keep producing the same results, guys, and it will keep you stuck where you are. Yeah, you need to actually just become the man who actually holds himself to a high standard before the body catches up. And a whole part of this, guys, is environment. The people you hang around, average people, guys, like people with no standards, people pulling you down. Yeah, you need to almost have ear blockers on to everything around you, guys. All right, you don't need to cut everyone out, but you need to be unmovable. You need to cut out all the society norms here of people telling you that you can't sustain it, people that are just built to be average. Like, you're opting out of that, guys. You want to look elite year round. Like, you want it to be a lifestyle, guys. But guys, essentially the first phase when you come into my elite program will be priming. Okay, priming the body. So we actually just want to get ourselves into a good position. We want to get everything in the green. Yeah, we want to strip you down to that 8% body fat with the right systems in place to ensure that you're losing body fat, but just keeping that muscle and not just being some miserable fucker and crashing your hormones in the process. That is not what we want, guys. We want to actually just prime the body, and this is where we essentially just set up your nutrition, the correct macros, the right training volume, activity levels aligned with your body type, with your current weight, guys, your current goals. And I like to run this phase anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how the scale's looking, but depending on how the trend's looking. And nutrition here, guys, is roughly around maintenance. Yeah, we're not going straight into some deficit. Yeah, we want to give our body just a good amount of food, so when we actually enter that diet phase, it's inevitable that you're going to lose the weight, guys. It just makes it easy, okay? Your body's actually ready for it. You're not going straight into some aggressive cut off the back. Like, the number one thing we actually just want to be doing is preserving that muscle, if we have any to begin with, okay? We want to get everything back in the green. Like, at the end of the day, guys, the long game is the short game. I say this a lot, but that is just the facts of it. When we actually go into the next phase, the shredding phase, again, week by week, we're just adjusting the calories, okay? We're entering into a deficit. So what I usually like to do for myself, maybe my clients, either 300 to 500 calorie deficit, depending on where they're actually starting from. And again, week by week, we're just adjusting, depending on the trend, adjusting the macros, maybe upping their steps, increasing cardio where it's needed. All right, it's all about the precision over everything. We're not guessing, we're not engineering. And look, at times, like I say, you may look a bit flatter. Yeah, you may look a bit worse. You may look a bit soft because your muscles are going to lose some fullness. We're going to be pulling carbs. Okay, we're going to have less glycogen in the muscles. But you just got to trust the data, guys. You've got to trust that 8% version of you is coming. And towards getting down to that 8% body fat, look, like I say, you're going to have a bit of diet fatigue, guys. You might have a bit of a flat look. You may look a bit skinny fat. And this is the phase that most people can't get through. But again, like I say, it's about having the mindset, guys. Yeah, you're nearly there, like, so do not quit. And then we enter into phase 3, which is essentially the reverse phase. Okay, once we've actually hit that 8% body fat, we reverse back out, guys. We start increasing the food, we start increasing the performance, you know, energy levels come back. This is what most men, they butcher this phase, guys. They butcher this phase. They hit the number, they hit that 10% body fat, that 8% body fat, and then they go straight back to eating everything in sight. Okay, I used to do all these fucking all-inclusives, guys. That is not the way. Like, they go straight to eating everything in sight. Or a lot of people, what I notice a lot of people do, is they stay in a deficit too long. And they get scared. They're thinking they're going to lose the look. They're thinking they're going to lose the abs. Like, all of this is wrong, guys. All of this is fucking BS. Yeah, we're going to bring up food slowly, week by week. And in that way, that flat look that you have at the end of the diet, it starts filling out, guys, okay? And your muscles start to pop. Your energy comes back. Your performance starts climbing. Like, if it's done properly, you're going to look fuller. You're going to look more defined. Like, that is the actual reward of just being patient and trusting the process. And then from there, it's phase 4. It's we enter into a performance phase. And this is where we maximize everything. We're looking full as a house at this point. We've got the bicep veins pressing against the skin. Yeah, we're just looking fucking sick, guys. And then we push performance. Okay, we maybe get you back to your new maintenance, which is just going to be a lot more, guys. Or maybe a slight surplus, like I say, with a lot more food. Yeah, right now, guys, I'm on probably around 3.5 calories, 3.5k calories, guys. And I'm maintaining roughly anywhere from 11% body fat. Yeah, and I'm looking at actually going back into a diet phase soon. You know, maybe when I hit that 12-13%. And then we just get down to that 8% body fat. And then we're just running 2 phases, okay? We go back and then we push again, guys. Yeah, and then we pull back down. We're just building steady tissue year round. And then we're just keeping that look, guys. We're keeping the jawline. We're keeping the definition. Okay, we don't need to be doing all this excessive bulks and extreme cuts, guys. That is the new way of literally building your physique. And that is what I've learned. I've come to learn. And again, people say, oh no, you've got to commit to a 2-year-long bulk. Like, guys, why do you want to look shit for 6 months? Okay, we always want to be looking good. And again, we're not scarce on food anymore. Okay, going forward, once you actually get through this phase, you can actually be a lot more flexible in your everyday life. It's about smart eating. It's about making the right moves. And that is what keeps you around that 10-11% body fat year round without actually thinking about everything. And guys, it literally exposes how bad your old lifestyle actually was. Okay, like trust me, guys, once you actually get down to 8% body fat, there is no going back. When it comes to nutrition, okay, when getting to 8% body fat, precision is everything here, guys. Yeah, not eating less, but just having your nutrition properly dialed in, okay? Where you're actually placing them meals throughout the day and even in that diet phase. What I usually tend to do, even in diet phases and performance phases, I usually like to run higher carbs, higher protein, a lower fat approach. That is usually the framework I usually like to run for myself and for clients. And again, we're always keeping protein high in this phase, okay? 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. And that stays the same throughout every single phase. And again, we're keeping the carbs around them training blocks, you know, having the right meal and timing before and after sessions, so you're just performing at your best and you're recovering properly and not feeling sluggish and slow throughout the day, okay? We want to be looking mentally sharp. We want to be operating like a machine. That is what it's about. And again, we're not cutting fats completely. Yeah, we're keeping all macronutrients in there. A lot of people go keto, guys. And what I found with keto, or even keto and carnivore, guys, is you end up looking flat. You end up looking skinny fat because you've got no glycogen in the muscles. So we still want to keep carbs in there where it's needed around your training. You want to look full as a house. But like I say, we don't want to eliminate fats, guys. Yeah, fats are actually like essential for your hormones, for your health, for everything functioning properly. And again, guys, when it comes to nutrition, whole foods, okay? Whole foods, 365 days a year. Yeah, not diet food, not like, I'm talking real food. You can actually digest it properly, all right? It's about fuel, guys. It's going to keep you operating at your best, always. And for that initial dieting phase, guys, what I recommend a lot of people to do is build a meal plan. Yeah, I like to do this with all my clients, guys. Just give them a meal plan. You know, when they're getting down to that 8% body fat, at the end of the day, guys, you're killing that decision fatigue. And then you just know exactly what you're eating. Yeah, when and why. And like, just compliance, it becomes automatic. And again, once you reverse back out, guys, once we reverse back out, and then we're running a performance phase, then you can be a lot more flexible. And this is where, like I say, you're sustaining anywhere from 10-11% body fat, and that just becomes the standard, guys. All right, not some goal. And guys, I want to talk briefly on training. Yeah, I want to talk briefly on training, guys. Now, this is where a lot of people fall off, okay? They assume that they can train like a little bitch because now they got more food. Wrong, guys, okay? Food is fuel. We're literally using that to maximize our performance in the gym, okay? We need to be absolute psycho in the gym. We want to have psycho behavior only. In every phase, in fact, of your roadmap journey, in the priming phase, in the shredding phase, in the reverse phase, in the performance phase, okay? You want to be going in that gym like a psycho. Especially, guys, what I found deep in the cut, when energy's low, you know, I've had some dark sessions, guys. Yeah, anyone that's got to anywhere from 6 to 7% body fat once, guys. Like, I was going in that gym, you know, and bear in mind, I was running my brand, guys. I was trying to balance everything, even my 9 to 5 at the time. And them sessions, I trained at my hardest. Okay, not junk volume, but I was pushing myself like my life depended on it. I was walking that gym thinking I was the best. Yeah, I was thinking I was the best cunt in there. Like, you got to look at people like Ronaldo. Okay, look at all the greats. Like, every session, every training session, guys, you want to be having 100% effort. Yeah, you're having a competition with yourself every single time. You're killing that version of yourself and you're just coming back better every single time. You're not fluffing about, okay? You're not going in the gym, scrolling TikTok, fucking about with your mates. Like, there is full focus. There is mind to muscle connection, proper execution, proper tempo. Training like a psycho, guys, is the only way. And even in every phase, guys, we like to keep cardio in there. Yeah, but we like to keep it light, you know, steps, bike, stairs. List cardio is always going to be the way from pure aesthetics, guys. If you want to maximize your recovery, you don't want to, you know, be burning through muscle. We actually just want to keep the body progressing year round. Again, guys, we do have hybrid people that come into the program, and you know, a lot of my aesthetics, guys, I'm not going to lie, has come from running. I used to sit around 8 to 9% body fat year round. You know, running constantly, guys. I was running sometimes 60, 70 kilometers a week. So if that works for you, look, we work around it, guys. But for most people, again, list cardio is going to be the way, guys. And let's talk about a very underrated part of the whole process. And this is where most people this is what most people completely ignore. And it's recovery, guys. Okay, because you can have the perfect deficit, you can have the perfect macros, you can have the perfect training, but if you have poor recovery, your results, they will be poor. It's that simple, guys. So we want to be prioritizing our sleep. I'm talking anywhere from 7 to 9 hours, non-negotiable, guys. You know, growth hormones are released in your sleep. Again, this is where you actually just build in your muscle and fat's being burnt, everything's being repaired. Like, if you're having 5 hours sleep right now, you're literally working against every bit of effort that you're putting in, and you're just raising your cortisol, guys. Okay, we want to keep our cortisol down, and again, sleep's going to be a massive priority in that, guys. So high cortisol, all that's going to do is just going to lead you to holding more fat and just breaking down muscle, and it's just impossible to actually get down to that 8% body fat. So what I like to do, I like to prioritize, you know, my recovery, guys. I like to prioritize my sleep. I usually like a dark room, nice cool room, you know, no phone, 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Usually like to do a bit of mindset reading or a bit of stillness, guys. Just constant sleep again, you know, constant wake up time every day, even the weekends, guys. Again, this is what separates you actually getting the body you want. So you want to manage it, guys. You want to go on them walks, you know, breathe in, time away from the screen, actually just decompressing. And again, hydration is one thing I want to quickly cover, guys. Okay, we want to be having anywhere from 3 to 4 liters a day minimum even 5, 6 sometimes on training days. You know, sometimes for me, guys, what I like to do is usually 5, 6 liters a day, in all honesty, guys. Okay, like a lot of people are dehydrated and they're going into their sessions dehydrated and they're just not maximizing their capacity. So what I like to do, I like to keep, you know, supplements, electrolytes, guys. It's a non-negotiable for me. Again, I have my supplements in the morning. Always rehydrate upon waking after, you know, them 8 hours sleep, guys. But as well, steps, guys. Steps are key. Yeah, I'm talking anywhere from 10,000 a day. We always want to keep our metabolism active, improve insulin sensitivity, aid recovery, get outside, walk more. And even on them rest days, guys, a lot of people just sit there and do fuck all. Like, that is not what it's about. And you also want to be having weekly check-ins with yourself. And again, this is what I do with a lot of my clients, you know, check-ins with the weights, check-ins with the photos, with the training, with the energy, your sleep, your stress. The data, it literally tells you everything in the process. Like, recovery, it just isn't just about sleep. Like, it's the full picture. It's about dialing everything in around it and just monitoring it. And that is where the results compound. I quickly want to also talk on environment. Okay, holiday, the summer body, the panic cuts. Like, you're just, like, if you're doing that, guys, you're spinning wheels. Yeah, like, you want this to be a lifestyle. This is why you actually just want to build a body and you actually want to keep it. And when I say lifestyle, I don't mean, you know, your whole life revolving around the gym. I just mean holding that condition year round. I mean holding that 10% body fat and still being able to go out and do things and just hold yourself to a higher standard and bring that in, you know, to your social life, guys. Like, so if your environment is literally working against you right now, that is hard, guys. Okay, we don't want any middle ground. There is no middle ground. The people around you, if they're average, if they're pulling you down to their standard, like I say, every week you're just pulling yourself further away from your goal. Like, it doesn't matter how good your willpower is, guys. You want to make sure you're getting around the right people and you want to actually just build an environment where the right choices are just easy, guys. People with a good physique, people who respect themselves, they just keep themselves in a good environment, guys. So again, it comes down to your digital environment, what you're scrolling on social media, who you're hanging around. Is your kitchen stocked up with chocolates, with all this shit, guys? Like, we want to stock the kitchen right. Yeah, because the people who actually respect what they're building, they built a routine where it doesn't matter what conditions they're in, they're literally making the right decisions by chance. And that is why it's so important to have the systems. And this is what we do inside my elite program. We prime the body, we shred you down, we reverse you back out, we push food, performance. You know, we get your training dialed in. You start training like an absolute psycho in every phase. Recovery is locked in. Your environment is set up to actually hold a proper standard. And you get there once and you learn your body. And you never go back, guys. Okay? It's about actually just staying lean and then building. And just always looking good. And then, like I say, going into that diet phase and then pushing forward. And then going into that diet phase and then pushing forward. Okay? This is a lifestyle. This is a standard, guys. And there is a link below. All right, it's not for everyone. This is for the men who actually done starting over. This is for the men who actually done looking fucking average. Like, if you're ready to actually commit, not for 8 weeks, but actually just commit to a standard, commit to a lifestyle, you can apply below, or you can shoot me a message over on Insta, Charlie Crawley Fit. I'm always happy to help, guys. But let's get it. Let's go, guys.